Well, good afternoon to you all. Tony Virtue speaking, Virtue and Partners, with our regular monthly update. And good to see a fair few of you in my travels over the last few weeks overseas. Good to see some level of normality coming back to things, and let's hope now for better times. Turning to the numbers, well, the RBA kept rates at the same level for the second successive month, 4.1%. And that is quite a lot lower than the UK, the US, etc. Probably reflects that we're in far better shape from how I see it anyway. And this should be the top of the interest rate cycle. And looking to the future now, inflation coming down fairly quickly, and interest rates should reflect that. That's just common sense, I guess. There. Well, there's been a lot of focus on this debt cliff and how much that's impacting the public, which is absolutely true. Do not forget that globally, countries themselves are very heavily indebted. I think the US now, in my notes, up to $31 trillion worth of debt, $1.5 trillion worth of interest payments. And you'll see our own situation, which, while much better, is still around 26% of GDP. So in other words, there's an awful lot of money that could go into hospitals and education that is going into interest payments. Now, to my mind, that just says one thing. Governments will want to get interest rates down as quickly as they can, and that is when it looks like inflation is manageable. There are wage strikes and increases all over the place, and that there's a level of order about things. We do have 520,000 people coming into Australia now looking for somewhere to live, and that increases our workforce by about 2%. Now again, that will kick on the GDP, so even though a lot of the numbers are looking fairly modest at the moment in the budgets, the truth of the matter is that a good 500,000 people coming into the country, paying taxes, some level of entrepreneurship amongst them, that is a positive for getting the economy moving forward. I still see Asia as the pick of the markets from a global point of view, and there's just an enthusiasm and a drive there that sadly I did not see in the UK a couple of weeks ago. So all in all, Australia is well positioned. We're seeing the resources sector doing relatively well. We're seeing some of those Chinese tariffs being renegotiated away. And a combination of all of that should lead to a level of what we call a wealth factor. If your home's going up in value, if you've got a solid job, in spite of the fact that interest rates have risen, providing people can see that over time they will come down, providing they can see that their net assets are going up, I think we will ride our way through this situation. You can see in the notes that we've had, certainly in Sydney, 4 or 5 months of pretty significant growth in residential property, and I'd expect that will continue. So all in all, we talk about this Goldilocks position where income has definitely gone up in investments. You're seeing that with a lot of your fixed interest investments, everything from term deposits and into credit now, generating in those 6-7%. That's a very positive number. It also means that, again, you can see from my work there how we can de-risk portfolios. For the first time in nearly 15 years, the actual income we're getting from investments is greater than the dividends from the ASX 200. And so people can naturally say, well, do we need to take share risk? So what do I expect from here? Probably a fairly steady time. We're coming into the earnings season at the moment. Australian shares, the major companies will all announce their results both this week and next week. And from there, with continuous disclosure, we're not expecting too many shocks. That should all be in the market. That should lead again to a record dividend payout, all of which will feed through to you as shareholders and owners of managed funds. There have been some increases in Centrelink payments, etc., and we'll work with you in those areas so that the cost of living is being managed as best that we can. Let me say, we are still far, far better here in Australia than most other countries. And that will lead to a wealth effect coming into Australia. Makes it a good place to invest, a relatively safe place to keep money. and generally a place that, not without problems, is far better than many of the alternatives. We're as busy as ever. We've increased our staff to try and support that. We're practical. We are trying to use the DocuSigns, the more efficient ways of getting business cleared, while still putting that time into those individual relationships that we know are at the core of what we do. So all is well. I look forward to talking to you next month. Tony Virtue, when experience pays.